Josh Rivera is arguably the greatest college parliamentary debater of all time when we're talking about NPDA style debate, so technical Parli. He won the 2013 and 2014 NPDA and was the 2013 NPTE top speaker. He won the 2014 NPDA with a different partner. He won the 2015 NPTE with another different partner and was top speaker of the NPTE once again, and also was an NPDA finalist that year. So he made 5 national finals in 3 years, and he won 4 of them and was top speaker in 2 of them. And he did it with a different partner every single year. And on top of that, he wasn't just someone who performed at the national championship tournament, because in 2013, 2014, and 2015, him and his partners were the number one ranked team in the NPTE season long rankings, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they were number 2 in 2016, or yeah, I think they were in 2016. I could be wrong. If they were still competing, but they might not have been. But anyway, they were the number one ranked team. He won a bunch of national championships. He did it with a bunch of different people. And crucially, he did it when Parli was arguably at its most competitive. And what I mean by that is, obviously, debate formats and kind of any competitive discipline continues to evolve to a certain degree, and the debates these days are potentially very high level. But the sheer number of people who were competing when Josh was competing was significantly more. There were more people in the NPDA in 2013 when he won it than, like, I don't know, 3 times how many there were at NPDA and NPTE combined this year. And so he did it when Parli was still a fairly large event, and at that time he was inarguably every single year of his career, including his freshman year in 2012, a top 4, arguably top 2 even debater. And all that is to say, Josh Rivera is probably the Parli GOAT. Now, I wouldn't say he's my favorite debater ever. I don't even usually refer to him as my pick for the best debater ever, but he did beat the person who I think is the best ever in the 2015 NPTE Championship. So I'm probably wrong. I'm probably just a hipster about this stuff. But what I want to talk about today is that Josh is the Parli GOAT, and Josh has one of the most incredible debate resumes of any debate format ever. Like, it is unheard of to win national championships in 3 different years, to win 4 championships, to be in 5 finals, to be the top speaker twice, and to be the number one team throughout the year, like every single year. And until UT Tyler set the record in 2015, I want to say, Josh held the record for the greatest win percentage as well, as far as MPT rankings. The question I want to ask today, and the thing I want to talk about today, is which one of you is going to be better than Josh Rivera? Who is the person who is going to do the work, who is going to commit themselves, and who is going to step up and even attempt to achieve the things that Josh did? And over the years since Josh's career finished, while Parli has dwindled, and again, that hasn't necessarily been bad for the top level of competition, because, you know, a lot of the lower level has fallen off, though some of the top level certainly has. Debates are certainly still very high level. I would frankly say that I don't think they are quite as high level as the peak during that time, but they're still, you know, reasonably close. But with that said, the question I'm sort of asking here is, will there be another Josh Rivera? And more importantly, is there someone out there, whether you are in high school debate currently or you are already competing in the NPDA/NPTE, who has it within them and who has the belief that they can show up and just be one of the best debaters in the country pretty much from day one, and never really let that level drop off until literally the very end of your career? And based on sort of my historical recollection of the things that have happened since Josh Rivera, there's been a few people who've arguably come, like, relatively close, right? As far as the number of national championships, let's pretend the NRR doesn't exist, because I do all the time. And it wasn't a thing really when he was competing, so, like, you know, it's not apples to apples in that sense. I think that some of the Berkeley teams certainly over the years have come pretty close. Henry Tolchard obviously won a ton of national championships. Amanda won a bunch of national championships. And other than that, no one's even close, right? And again, for context, even when Henry was winning national championships dating back to like 2018, like Parli was less than half the size it was in 2013, 2014, 2015. So certainly a smaller field, at least potentially a less rigorous field, a lot less tournaments going on and things of that nature. Teams just did a lot more rounds back in the day. And so, as far as I'm concerned, no one's caught Josh. And there's different people who can make different arguments, but it seems kind of silly to me. Like, this dude's resume is just the most insane debate resume I've ever heard of in any debate format ever. And, this is ignoring that I'm pretty sure in high school he was like top speaker at like national UDLs or something for policy debate. So the dude just has like this all time debate resume. But I don't think there's a reason why someone can't do the same thing. I think the hardest part of catching Josh Rivera or becoming the next GOAT is that Josh, obviously, as someone who competed in high school, came into Parli and was immediately amongst the top 5 best people in the country, essentially, right? I think top 10, absolutely. Top 5, most likely. I think different people would say different things as it pertains to that. And that's going to be the hardest part, right? Because if you're not amazing your first year, that means you have 3 years to win every national championship except for one, essentially, just to catch up. And to be clear, Josh didn't win nationals his freshman year. He won it his sophomore year when he was debating with Mike Selk, and then he won it with Ben Campbell, and then he won it with Zach Schneider. And other than, I guess what I'm trying to say here to have a note is, I think most people would probably say that in 2013, Mike Selk was the better debater. And Mike Selk might have been the best debater in the country at that time, and Josh might have been number 2 or number 3 or whatever. But other than that, Josh did it as the carry, essentially, right? He did it as the best debater, and with everyone knowing he was the best, right? And this is something really important, because what we've seen over the years is that there will be a dominant team, and when you are a dominant team, people redouble their efforts to focus on you specifically. They cut specifically against you as best they can and try and understand your strategies. And part of what made Josh so unbelievable is that he didn't really have a wheelhouse like a lot of teams do these days, right? Like the Berkeley folks, almost all of them, it's like, well, they're going to read 1 or 2 Ks that they always read, like half and neg, and then they're going to go over theory. But Josh Rivera wasn't a big K guy as far as like the majority of his rounds, like half and neg, and he wasn't like this huge theory guy or anything. And so you had to beat him on case a lot of the time, or you had to read the K and then deal with him answering it, and he understood the K very well. And so part of what made him so strong was just that, like, he almost didn't have strengths or weaknesses. He just had a level of game that was so consistent across the board. And I will note that Josh competed during the time I competed, but I was in community college when he was competing. But more importantly, I've probably watched more rounds of Josh Rivera than anyone who wasn't judging at that time, because I promise you I've watched every single video Josh Rivera was ever in on the internet, even ones people don't know exist, even ones from like things I got from like Steve or whatever, because Steve coached Josh at one point. And I've seen his style and his level relative to the field, and it just is phenomenal. It's so different than today, because even though he was insanely fast, like arguably one of the fastest debaters in the country, the level of clarity was unbelievable. The level of explanation and detail and his ability to win in front of all judges was just completely off the charts, bonkers, insane. And I think that someone who can catch or pass Josh Rivera has to fit into that same wheelhouse. Because the reality is, there are certain stylistic things that judges get tired of as we cycle through eras of debate, or even year to year in debate, right? There was a lot of the MG theory stuff going on just a few years ago, and judges kind of publicly were talking about how they didn't really want to vote on that stuff, and that potentially hindered some teams in their effectiveness. And I think right now, one of the interesting trends that I see in parliamentary debate is that people are just winning on sort of long form framework, super T, whatever you want to call it, against KAFs, which is not necessarily something that happens in other formats, right? Like in policy, I don't think the most compelling strategy against an AFK is you don't get to read your AFK, but Tom Cady and Henry won finals on that. Brenna and Tristan have won finals on that. Washburn beat Berkeley, reading T in finals a few years back. Like, this is a strategy that is working for a number of people. And that's because judges are changing their dispositions about what kind of things they want to see. They're kind of tired of seeing the same Ks all the time, and they're starting to give credence to some of the successful strategies we've seen from teams like Berkeley and Washburn and SIU years and years ago. And so what I'm trying to get to when I discuss this is that if you're going to be Josh Rivera, I think on top of working hard, being talented, being dedicated, you have to ensure you have a style or sort of a base level of game that is not dependent on trends and that is not dependent on kind of what is meta right now, but instead are just able to adapt and win debates on sort of all kinds of levels and in front of all kinds of judges. I think that assuming Parli keeps going for the next few years, and we're doing our best to try and bolster it and all those kinds of things as far as NPTE and NPDA leadership and things of that nature, I think there's a good shot that someone could get to where Josh did and accomplish things like Josh did and maybe even surpass what Josh did. And I think that maybe there's even a few people competing right now who could do it. But I think if you're not already of the mindset that that is your goal isn't even to win the national championship or to be the top speaker at the national tournament. Your goal is to win it again and win it again and win it again, just so you can even be in the same conversation as this guy. I think if that's not already in your mind, you're going to struggle. And I think maybe the biggest advantage Josh Rivera has, and that some of you have right now, is he did it. Like in 2013, he won the NPTE and the NPDA and was the NPTE top speaker. And so the next year in 2014, when he was debating at nationals at NPDA, and the whole year, he already knew what it took to win nationals. He already knew that he could do it, and he had it within himself. And then in 2015, when he now had 3 national titles under his belt, he knew he could do it again. And he did do it again. And I think that this is a strength and this is a benefit that there's only a few teams that ever really get it, right? Because a lot of teams win nationals their senior year, and as a result, they don't get to debate anymore after that. But if you are lucky enough to win nationals while you still have eligibility, you have an advantage potentially that no one else in the field does. I think after this year, if I'm not wrong, only 3 people, well, actually, let me scratch that. 5 people, because there was a closeout of the MPT. 5 people in the country next year will be able to say that they have won nationals and are still debating, as far as I'm aware. And that's just a huge advantage. And again, I think that it would be super easy for anyone who does win a national championship to like settle and be like, I already did it. I already won nationals, or I won 2 nationals or 3 nationals or whatever. Like, do I really need to keep doing the work to win another one? Or do I really care about even being considered GOAT? Or like, would it even matter if I won those things? And I think that is a self-defeating thought process. Because I think if you were to ask the people who have won multiple national championships, I don't know if that's a mindset they necessarily had. I don't think that there was even a question in their mind. I think that winning to them was its own reward. Being the best was its own goal. And that at the end of the day, you can never satiate that, even if you do win 4 nationals or 5 nationals or whatever. And so I hope that in my time I see someone win 4 or 5 national championships again. And obviously Parli's a little different than like NFALD, because NFALD there's only really 1 national championship every year, whereas in policy and Parli there's at least 2. There's 3 actually, depending on which ones you subscribe to. And so all that is to say, I hope that there is another Josh Rivera out there. I think there is another Josh Rivera out there. And I just hope that whoever that person is doesn't give up kind of midstream. That because they found some success, they find that sufficient and move on. because that would be great and I'd be happy for them and that's very satisfying. But I think going down as the greatest of all time, being the only person to sort of pass this like titan of a debater, would just be incredible. And that's what I want to talk about today. Catch you folks later.